Let's talk about Celebrity, the K-drama on Netflix that's about influencers gone wild. So what made me pick this K-drama was that I saw that it was about influencers and something about deadly consequences, and I'm like, ooh, influencers, it's giving thriller, it's giving drama. Clearly somebody ends up dying. Count me in, okay? This show follows a girl named Ari, and she is the biggest influencer in South Korea right now. And we get to see her journey of how she got there. And then somehow, some way along this journey, there are so many ups and downs, child. They are dragging this girl. She loses her business. She kind of loses her friends. She's low-key always getting bullied, but then she ends up dead. And then 3 months later, she ends up on Instagram Live saying, oh, I'm going to air out all of the dirty secrets that you guys don't know about being an influencer. And if you want to be an influencer, let me tell you how to do it. Let's go.
E-celeb with 1.3 million followers who rose to fame. That Soari.
Soari she's dead. When you died.
Okay, so that was a very quick recap. So episode 1, we're getting to know Ari. Ari came from a family with money, but she lost that money because her dad did something. I think they said their company went bankrupt, so then they had to live like a regular mundane life like everyone else. And for this mundane life, she was selling makeup door to door. So think of like the Avon girls that be popping up at your job or like at your home. They're like, oh, hey, buy this lipstick because it's just so good. It'll moisturize your lips. And while you're at it, join our subscription fee for like $100. Like, yeah, that's what Ari was doing. And Ari, she had a best friend. The best friend name is Jasmine. FYI, I'm going to change the names because the names are in Korean and it's very hard for me to remember names like that. So I always end up switching them to stuff that's easier. So yeah, just putting that out there. So Ari has a best friend. Her name is Jasmine. They work together. I do not like Jasmine. Jasmine is super annoying, guys. Jasmine is that friend that don't know how to act whenever she's around like celebrities or like people of a certain status. She act like she never had nothing, y'all. She act like she never saw money a day in her life. Like she goes crazy anytime she sees influencers. Ari, on the other hand, she's not like that. And it was kind of awkward, like at some point seeing that dynamic, because I'm like, yo, if I had a friend like that, I'm sorry, we would not be friends because you're actually doing the most, like making me uncomfortable because you're doing the most.
We just spent 30 million won today.
You really are stunning, Mina.
Right? God, that's amazing. Mina just bought a premium tier collection.
So basically, Ari got this chance to become a big influencer, child, because she ran into this girl that she knew from back in the day when they were childhood friends. And this girl, her name is Mina. She saw Ari in like this department store getting something for her boss, and like, let's say Saint Laurent, right? So she sees her, mind you, they haven't spoken in so long. She sees her and she's like, oh my gosh, it's Ari. Look at my best friend. She ain't see this girl in years. They are not best friends. They are not best friends. It's giving weird. And you know who Mina reminds me of? Mina reminds me of Soo Min from Marry My Husband. You know how Soo Min was so delusional? Like anytime she did something to Ji-won and Ji-won called her on it, Soo Min would be like, huh? What are you talking about? Why are you treating me like that? Yeah, I tried to steal your boyfriend and okay, like that's the energy that Mina gives, and I'm just like instantly triggered because I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again. So basically, Mina invites her to go to this party. At first, Ari was like, I don't want to go, but of course her friend is like, no, we should go. They're influencers. She's like basically kissing this girl's butt. They end up going to this party, right? And here's the kicker with this party. This party, guys, started everything. This party right here, Ari going to this party started her whole influencer career, and she didn't even know it, y'all. So she's getting ready for this party at home, and her mom is like, oh my gosh, you can't wear your rag taggity tag clothes, like your regular mundane clothes, right? So Ari's mom's bright idea was, oh, I'm a seamstress. I alter stuff for celebrity clients. Why don't you wear one of their dresses that I have, this expensive Saint Laurent dress that costs 12 million won. You should wear that to the party because they would never know. At first, Ari was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But then she ends up wearing the dress anyway, which was so freaking stupid, right? So then she ends up going to the party and she runs into this guy. He is so cute, y'all. His name is Johnny Bravo. Remember that because he is an important character in this story and he is so fine, child. So she runs into Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo taps her because he sees her and he thinks that it's someone else. She has this big grandiose reaction.
What is this? This is what...
What are you doing? Who do you think you are? You can't touch me.
I'm so sorry, I took you for the wrong person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you see how she dragged it, right? Like, she did not have to react like that. So that's when he sees her, and from that moment, I just knew Johnny Bravo. He gave stalker. He gave, ooh, she's mine as soon as I saw her. He gives touch her and you're, you know that book trope, touch her and you'll die? Yeah, he gives all of that. And I'm just like, in real life, I don't know if I would like a guy like that, but I'm like, in a book or a movie, I'm so here for it. And basically at this party, Ari goes with Mina and her friends, the girl sisters. They're so freaking annoying. Please keep these girl sisters in mind because I didn't even mention them in the beginning, but keep the girl sisters in mind. They are a group of women, a part of this Gabin society, and the story also focuses around them as well. And basically they see her in this expensive dress that she know damn well she should have never worn. They see her in this expensive dress and they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get it from? Because I couldn't even get my hands on it. There was like only one available, da 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 da. Because they're like, wait, who are you? You're a nobody. They literally treat people that's not an influencer as the help, like the scum of the earth. Like they really think they are top-ish. Nobody is better than them. Everything revolves around them, their likes, their comments, like so annoying. Just think of your stereotypical influencer that is so out of touch of reality and you just hate when you see them post. You just have to have them blocked because they trigger you that much. That's them, specifically Mina and Chee. I do not like Mina and her chapped lips. Chee was so annoying. Chee will always complain about every little thing. Oh my gosh, I only got 99,000 likes on this post, but so Ari, she got 100,000 likes. Like, so annoying, complaining about the most trivial things. Like, so Ari, she will be seated at a place where she thinks is better. She'll complain because, oh, who is so Ari to be sitting there? Why am I not sitting there? I'm better than so Ari. That's their attitude. So at this party, once again, we get introduced to a character named Shayla. I really like Shayla. She was a little iffy for me at first because of the whole interaction with Johnny Bravo, because she saw him one time and she was like, oh, like, no, I don't want to talk to him. But I'm like, she's also married. She was looking at him like, I miss that thing. Like, you know that look that you give someone that like you have relations with? Like, she was giving him that look and she didn't even have to say it. I just knew. I was like, oh yeah, they got history. And come to find out, child, they got history. So Shayla now enters the scene as they're like questioning Ari about this Saint Laurent dress, and Shayla notices that like, oh, that's my dress. And she realizes that Ari can't answer any questions. So she's just like helping her out or whatever. And I was like, oh, that was really nice of her. And at this party, this is where the big interaction happens. So Ari ends up getting wine spilled on this damn dress that she should have never worn, and then she rips into Beady Beady Bum Bum. Okay, so Beady Beady Bum Bum comes into the scene because Beady Beady Bum Bum had like some internet beef with this other character that does not matter right now, but her name was Wing La Ro. So she had beef with Wing La Ro on the internet, and Beady Beady Bum Bum exposed their text messages of them talking about the girl sisters. And now at this party, Mina was in charge of the guest list, and she took Beady Beady Bum Bum's name off of the guest list, and Beady Beady Bum Bum pulled up to the party and was like, you think you could take my name off the guest list when I made you? You think you could just write me out of the influencer group chat? Da, 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 da. So they start swinging on each other. As they're swinging on each other, tell me why, somehow, some way, wine ends up getting thrown on the $12 million wine dress that Ari should have never wore. And this is where things go left. Because now Beady Beady Bum Bum turns around on Ari and starts going off on her. Like, girl, you spilled wine on her and you going off on her. And Ari basically told her, girl, don't try me. Try your mama. Don't try me. And of course, since everything is focused around cameras, phones, influencer world, da 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 da, this ends up on Instagram, and Ari somehow, some way ends up gaining a little following, actually, because she did create the Instagram account before she came to this party, and people ended up following her because she was following Mina when they met at that original location. So she realizes that, oh, Instagram is pretty cool, but she's not yet interested, right? And now towards the end of episode 1, we're going back and forth between the past and the present, and Ari is letting us know on Instagram Live 3 months later, after she is supposedly and legally dead, that she is going to expose all of the secrets of those around her, the girl sisters and people connected to her. and how she ended up the way she ended up, dead during her influencer career, and how everything happened, child. That was a lot for episode 1, and if you're like, girl, this sounds confusing, this sounds juicy, it was hella confusing. I'm not gonna lie, I had to watch episode 1 at least 2 times because I was like, what's going on? One thing with this series is that when we're jumping back and forth between past and present, like, it could get very confusing because it's not really clear. You would only notice that it's like the past or the present based on like Ari on Instagram Live, because she's on Instagram Live, right? Or on the screen they will have like the black parts at the top and the bottom for like the past, and then in the present everything is like widescreen. So yeah, it was very confusing, and there are so many subplots, guys, within the main plot itself, which is Seo A dead? Who is this woman on Instagram Live sharing our secrets? And that could be a bit much. I wasn't really feeling that because like I like to watch TV and chill, but like when I feel like I gotta be like this close with like a notepad, like connecting the dots, like I don't like that feeling. But one thing I really did like about this series is that it really focused on like influencers in their world and how just nasty and entitled they can be. Because I feel like that's so true, and like we don't really talk about it like that. Well, we kind of talk about it, we kind of like gossip about it, but this show really like exploited it. The characters were not likable at all. Like the Gross sisters, when I tell you, anytime they came on my screen I was so freaking annoyed, guys. Like anytime Mina came on the screen, yo, Mina had beef with Seo A from the beginning. She was that nice, nasty friend. She wanted to take her down so many times. And she tried, and she kind of did. But guess what? One thing about Seo A, she got back up, okay? They would knock her down, she got back up. She wanted to become an influencer, she did that. She got the social media manager, she got the followers, she created her own clothing brand so she could have a brand outside of her brand, and they hated her for that, guys. They were trash talking this girl. They set up a competitor to take the manufacturer away from Seo A, so she couldn't even get the clothes anymore. They started rumors about this girl, and then her male love interest, Johnny Bravo, which we're gonna get into later. They didn't even like that Johnny Bravo was like so focused on her. Like they were so entitled, they just couldn't even fathom that someone would even want to talk, look, speak, let alone breathe the same air as Seo A. And another thing that I really liked about this show is that as Seo A was growing her influencer career, we can kind of see her changing, because one thing like people fail to realize is that when you become an influencer or you come into money or fame or whatever like that, you do kind of change in some ways. Now, your personality shouldn't change, but your circumstances and the way that you live will change. So with Seo A, there was a scene where she messed up some really expensive dress that she was supposed to only be wearing to be sponsored in, and she messed it up, and her best friend was like, oh my gosh, like you messed up the dress, what are we gonna do? And she was just like, I could just buy it. And then in that moment when she said that, she was just like, wait, did I just say like I can just buy it, as if like I'm just gonna buy a bottle of water? And then that's when we see like Seo A is getting a little comfortable. She was always judging these girls for their entitled attitude and for looking down on people, but she was low-key doing that too. She wasn't like really looking down on people, but her attitude towards like money and stuff like that, it was getting bigger and bigger. Like she was kind of getting neck and neck with them. Like she kind of forgot her roots a little bit. And once again, as Seo A is on Instagram Live, child, spilling all of the secrets about everything, let's just talk about these characters and how they kind of contributed to the story and how they really did it and what I didn't like about them. So we talked about Johnny Bravo. I really like Johnny Bravo because he gave that masculine energy that I love in like my books and my movies, but I really didn't see the connection between Johnny Bravo and Ari. It was more like Johnny Bravo was stalkerish. Like that scene where he went down to the police station just to report himself so he could get Seo A down to the police station just so he could talk to her because she wasn't answering his Instagram requests or his Instagram messages. I was like, that's weird. That's a bit much. It's giving stalkerish. I really didn't see why he liked her, because the only interaction that we saw between them at first was when he accidentally touched her, and then she screamed and called him a pervert and was like, I'm gonna report you for accidentally touching her, right? So I really didn't get to see their love connection. It was just like, oh, I like her. I really wish we could have saw like the intimacy and like the connection between them grow. Yeah, they did kiss, but it was a lot of like, I want you, I don't want you, but I want you. I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna keep you safe, all of those things. And like, so Adi was just like, no, stay away from me. I don't like you. Like, I didn't even see why she liked him, because I'm just like, for half of the damn show, the girl hated the man. And then she ended up liking him. I'm just like, okay. And then the whole storyline with Shayla having this past romance with Johnny Bravo, I was like with that as well. It was very confusing, because when they went to their flashbacks, I was like, so y'all broke up because she thought that you didn't love her because you wasn't showing her proper affection, and she decided to just go and marry another man for status. And you was just like, oh, okay. Guys, like, that's literally how they broke up, unless I missed something. I didn't even really see the connection between them, because in the flashbacks, it looked like they didn't even really like each other. Granted, she was smiling way more in those flashbacks. I barely saw this girl smile throughout the whole show. Like, when I tell you the girl did not smile, she probably only smiled 2 times outside of the flashbacks. That's how much I knew that man, her husband, was ruining her life. Like, this girl was always sad. Sadness was her. I wanted to call her Sad Shayla for the entire show, because she always looked sad. And while all of this is going on, so Adi becoming her big self, her big influencer, she is talking to some random Instagram account, and it's an anonymous account called BB Famous. And then we're also trying to figure out who BB Famous is. Like, guys, when I tell you there's so many subplots within this show, which is why I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to do a video on this, because child, yo, BB Famous. Tell me why BB Famous was on her side, but then BB Famous helped the Gross sisters eventually take her down, and then that's why she ended up wanting to like herself. One thing about this K-drama, they did too much. Like, there was just too many things going on, child. Too many things. It was like they were in the writing room and they were like, yeah, let's just take a little murder, let's take a little unaliving, let's take a little thievery, let's take a little divorce, let's take a little love, let's take a little lust, let's take a little anger, let's take influencers, like, let's just take everything and just throw it into one show, and then boom, we have celebrity. When we found out who BB Famous was, I was like, what? So when we found out who was behind the Instagram account BB Famous, it was some random girl that was in a massage parlor that did massages for the Gross sisters, and she got all of this information on the Gross sisters to give to Ari and vice versa, because she would always hear their conversations. And basically she was just so jealous that all of them had so much money, and she just wanted to take them down. And she was obsessed with So Ari in the beginning, but then she wasn't, because she was mad that So Ari wasn't answering her messages. It was a lot. It was a lot. And then her house was so dirty. She had cockroaches in her house, and then was bringing the cockroaches to the workplace. I was just like, child, did y'all have to include all of this into the storyline? Did y'all really? Like, by the time I got to that part in the show, I was already so overwhelmed by the fact that her best friend thought it was a great recreational therapeutic idea to create a hate page of her best friend, one of the biggest hate pages that her best friend had, simply because she was stressed out. And that helped her alleviate her stress, because she was so stressed just doing everything for her best friend and seeing her best friend turn into the biggest influencer, that the only thing she could do was create a hate page, one of the biggest hate pages that caused So Ari to lose everything, that caused her to want to unalive herself. Her best friend from the beginning, Jasmine, was behind this hate page. Once again, this show doing the most. And now with that storyline with the best friend, I wasn't even like genuinely surprised, because the best friend was weird from the beginning. Guys, I told you, this girl acted like she never knew anything, she never had anything, she never saw money. She was too excited to rub elbows with these annoying people. And then on top of that, she was using So Adi's name, I guess, to sell brand packages. So let's say she had like Starbucks coffees, right? So she would go on her Instagram live and she would be like, yeah, these Starbucks coffees are so good. So Adi uses these Starbucks coffees all the time. Yeah, look at me, I'm drinking it. People will buy the Starbucks coffees, and then the money will go to her, simply because she's just saying, oh yeah, I'm So Adi's best friend, and So Adi uses this all the time. And the mother called her on this and was like, girl, I know what you're doing, that you're using my daughter's name for money. And y'all, she sounded so confused, like it wasn't a big deal. She was just like, okay, and do I not deserve to have money too? Do I not deserve to have a little bit? Like, y'all, talk about gaslighting and delusional. So then when Seo A finds out that she's the one that was behind the biggest hate count of her, they end up in like some big fight. The brother looks like he wants to wail on her. And I was like, you know what? I don't condone violence between men and women, but I'm like, Seo A, you need to beat her tushy. Beat that. Beat that. So I'm like, there's no way. You've been my best friend for years. For years. You're by my side, helping me with this business to become an influencer. You see everything that I'm going through. This girl watched Seo A cry her eyes out and lose everything, and she was the main one behind it all. And her excuse was, it was to help me with stress. I was so stressed. I couldn't bear to see you win and be so successful, and I was just there like a nobody. Weird. So then we find out who BB Famous is, right? We find out that the best friend is weird. And then as all of this is happening, once again, a lot is going on. Johnny Bravo is trying to help Ari because Shayla's husband is the main one that's also trying to take Ari down for whatever reason. This man didn't like Ari since like she stepped on the scene, which I do not know why. Don't ask me. But they get into some words throughout the season, this weird beef between Johnny Bravo and Shayla's husband. So Shayla's husband ends up trying to take out Johnny Bravo, gets him in this car accident. Johnny Bravo ends up in the hospital. He is unconscious. So Adi thinks he's dead. Shayla's at the hospital as well and was like, oh, you can't see him right now. So Adi, he's unconscious. So then she goes into the room to see him anyway. And she's talking to him and she's like, oh, I'm going to make you dinner, because one of the last texts that he sent her was like, oh, I'm going to make sure all of this goes away, meaning everything she was going through with her business being dragged online, losing her followers. He was like, I'm really going to help you out with this. Like, I hope like you want to be with me in the end. Because once again, this whole time he's courting, not even courting her. I can't even say that. He's like low-key stalking her, guys. Like, I'm not even going to minimize it. Like, this guy was not taking a hint. If this was the real world, I'm telling you, I would be like, Johnny, yes, Baba. You are 2 seconds away from being behind the jail cell. Leave me alone. Thank you. So Adi's like, yeah, I'm going to go and cook us dinner. And then it jumps to a scene of her driving her car off a bridge into the river. Once again, the show is doing too much. I'm like, how did we get here? This girl literally just said she was going to cook him dinner. I thought she was going home to cook the dinner. But no, she drove herself off a bridge. Unless I missed something. I'm just like, what? So then now we see everything that led up to Seo A being dead and why everybody thought she was dead. Everybody thought Seo A killed herself, right? Seo A did not kill herself. So the Seo A that we see on Instagram Live from the very beginning of the series, guys, this person that's like, oh, I'm gonna reveal all of the secrets. It wasn't Seo A, it was her best friend the whole time using AI. It was a deep fake. Once again, I'm just like so flabbergasted because I'm just like, okay, now what else is there to expect at this point? Okay, we found out who the fake account was. We found out the best friend is weird. We found out the mother is also weird. She's super money hungry. We found out that Shayla has some weird history with Johnny Bravo in the past. We found out that, oh, I didn't even mention this overdose thing that happened in the club, child. I low-key don't even want to hit on that. But even that situation, there was a whole situation with all of them in the club. Some of the girl sisters, and Ari was there. Chee ends up getting off her rockers, low-key almost overdosing, but she didn't. She passed out. There was a worker there who unfortunately did overdose, and he ends up dying. But this whole situation could have been avoided had they just called the cops or just got him help, but they didn't. Shayla's husband ends up taking him to a plastic surgeon, which is one of the husbands of the girl sisters, and he ends up dying in the hands of this plastic surgeon. And then that's what also started like the whole downfall of Seo A, because now they're trying to keep this together, because if it gets revealed, it's going to ruin the careers of Mina, it's going to ruin the careers of Chee, it's going to ruin the careers of Shayla and her husband. And I guess this is just so bad because they're super important influencers that is just gonna ruin all their careers, right? So that's also that. So yeah, her best friend was the one that was behind this Instagram live. It was not Seo A. So now I'm like, okay, so where's Seo A? We find out that the best friend and the brother came up with this plan with Seo A to pretend to be her on Instagram live and expose all of these secrets to take down the Gross sisters and Shayla's husband and his dirty dogs, right? Which with that plot line, I'm just like, there are so many questions that this show did not answer, because once again, we see Seo A drive herself off of a cliff into the water. We see her go under the water. She's under, she looks like that's it. How did Seo A get out from up that water? Who saved her? Where did Seo A go from after that? Did Seo A decide that, oh, I want to do this elaborate plan before she drove herself in the water, or after she drove herself in the water? Why was her mother randomly in jail one day? Because towards the end of the series, we just see the mama randomly in jail. I'm like, what did her mother do? Why is she in jail? So Adi's manufacturer ends up killing himself because of all of like the downfall of the business. He blamed himself. I was just like, did we really need to add that to the storyline? Like, I thought that was a little extra, a little unnecessary. So now it's exposed that all of the Gross sisters had some horrible secret. Now they're all on their Instagram live saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Chee ends up getting arrested because she ended up, I guess it's like a mental facility or something. She has some random blonde wig on, child. I'm like, what was that about? Why did she have some random blonde wig on? But she ends up getting arrested for drug use. Shayla ends up divorcing that annoying husband, child. The girl that was BBB famous, she tries to kill herself once Ari confronted her with Shayla by jumping out the window. She ends up surviving, which I'm just like, that's crazy. Everybody just seems to survive these horrible things except for the manufacturing guy. I don't remember if Seo A and Johnny got back together, but it looked like that Seo A became friends again with the best friend, which was also weird because the last interaction we saw between Seo A and the best friend was when Seo A found out that she was being weird, that she was the one creating the hate pages. So I'm just like, how did we get from there to there? Like, Seo A just like completely forgave everyone. Like, so many questions not answered with this series. All in all, I do not want this video to be too long, guys, but if you guys did watch this show, comment down below on my commentary. Let's talk about this show, because I might do another video of like my favorite scenes or something like that. But this show, it was a lot. I finished it in about 2 to 3 days. I would say it is binge worthy. Yes, only because there's so much happening in every episode, and the cliffhangers be cliffing, y'all. Like, they really make you want to watch the next episode. One thing I wish that this show did differently was maybe take out some of the subplots, because it was a little bit too much to follow, and make it clear what was the past and what was the present. I would have loved to see how Seo A and her brother and her friend came up with this elaborate plan. I think they really should have focused on that more. I'm not too sure about the BB famous part, the Instagram anonymous page that Seo A was communicating with. I felt like we could have did without that, or like maybe it should have been someone else that was kind of already a part of the story. Like, I feel like adding in that random character at the end was just like to take up space. I don't know, I didn't really like that part. All in all, I give this show maybe about a 7 out of 10, and it's definitely making me want to watch another K-drama. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below on Celebrity, the K-drama on Netflix, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.